Hey, this is Matt, and in this quick tutorial I'm going to show you how to use Musescore for interval identification and ear training. So let's go ahead and start Musescore. This is version 2, and I'm going to create a new document. Doesn't matter what we call it here. And I'm just going to go with the grand staff to get a piano sound. You can use anything you want for fun. And let's just go with no key signature for starters. Okay, so you can see that my window here has a piano keyboard down at the bottom. This is really cool because you can click on it. If you can't see it, you can hit P on your keyboard and that will hide it and should show it again. If that doesn't work for you, you can go to View and scroll down to Piano Keyboard and it will tell you the key shortcut on your computer. So the first thing to do is just use that piano keyboard. So for example, you can experiment with what a melodic leap of a third is. Let's just keep it really simple and start on middle C and go up to E because it's 1, 2, 3 notes. And as we've covered in the chapter, the material in this module, in a major scale, going from C to C, all of the intervals are either perfect or major. So the perfect intervals are the octave, the fifth, the fourth, and the major intervals are the second, the third, and the sixth, and the seventh. So you can get an idea for what these sound like just going back and forth. It seems tedious, but this is really, there's no other way to do it. You need to get your ear trained and develop some sort of emotional connection. Start assigning adjectives to what does this interval sound like. This is a major third compared to like a minor third. That might be darker, sadder, more ominous perhaps. Let's try it with a perfect fifth. And then go to a diminished fifth, or the tritone. Definitely more of a dissonant leap. And you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. You don't have to start on C. You can really test yourself and start on something like E flat, and then try to find maybe a major second up from that, as opposed to a minor second, or try to find a minor seventh up from that. And this is where knowing your inversions, for me, really helps on larger interval leaps. When you're trying to leap up and it's hard to see, you're starting on a black key and you're still getting your feet wet with this. If you know that a minor seventh inverts to a major second due to the rule of 9, remember, your intervals in inversion always add up to 9. So sevenths always turn into seconds. And major intervals always turn into minor intervals. So a minor seventh, if we're trying to find a minor seventh above E flat, minor seventh would be some sort of a ninth, and it would be a major ninth. And so I know that if I look down, I can go down a major second and find my interval. It's actually going to be a D flat. So instead of going down to D flat, I'm going to go up to it. Boop. And then, so there's like our minor seventh. And if you know your song associations, the classic move, well, if you're like me and watched all the old Star Treks, this is the interval in the Star Trek theme. Right? Minor seventh. Whoops, there we go. Anyway, so that's fun with intervals here. Let me just show you something else really quick while we're in here in the keyboard. If you want to use that as a note entry tool, you can do that too. So you can actually click on your note value that you want to enter. And if you're entering streams of 16th notes, this can be really helpful. You can go to note entry and then start clicking on, it defaulted over to a quarter note when I clicked on note entry. Let's go to 16th note. But now, and I can start clicking around and doing really cool stuff. So it's a way to get a lot of information in there really quickly. And then, let's just undo all that. And let me show you the other tool using note entry, because if you only have a mouse and you're clicking on this keyboard, you can't play two notes at once. So what you can do is use the note entry function and actually start putting in some intervals to test your ear. And these are harmonic intervals where you hear them at the same time. So let's do that same thing here. This is a major third. Let's zoom in here. And you want to hear what a major third sounds like harmonically. Cool. I can just hit my replay. Cool. Now let's see, how does that sound as a minor third? I'm just going to lower that note. And then hit play. Okay, and then you could test your ears and compare. If you want to hear them back and forth, you could, go back to note entry. I'm going to put a major third after it. And then you could turn your note entry off. Copy this, paste it, paste it, paste it. You want to turn this into a little ear training exercise going back and forth. Major third. Minor third, major third, minor third, major third. So yeah, hours of entertainment here. This is just some really basic examples. Obviously you can test any interval you want. So the other thing too is when you're moving notes up and down, I'm using my arrow keys to do this. For example, here is an interval of a perfect fifth. If I go down, it turns into a flattened fifth. In terms of the notes, and it tells you what the notes are on the piano, which is also kind of helpful. This interval could also be an augmented fourth. And if you want to notate it as an augmented fourth, you go, click over here, go down to the fourth, and then click your up arrow. Notice that it's the same note here. Well, it's F sharp. It's not technically G flat. And if you want to change it back to D flat, G flat, you go back up to. Click on the score, go up to G, and then come down to the flat note. There you go. Hours of fun. You can try other instruments, oboes, harps, tubas, you name it. Good times. I'm using higher intervals here just because it's easier to hear if you're listening on a laptop or mobile device. But so get used to some lower intervals too if you have headphones on. A little harder to hear. They sound different. They're a little darker, and they can be super muddy potentially if let's delete all this. If you hear them harmonically way down in the depths here. Let's do a major. Let's see, note entry again, and let's do a major third way down here. Whoops. Let's not do it on the treble clef. Let's click on the clef you want to enter them in. That's a little more reasonable. There's always something. Boom. Okay, so now I'll get my whole note way down there. And a major third above it. Oops, not melodically. I want it harmonically. So click right. There we go. And there's your happy major third, right? Super dissonant way down in the depths there. Okay. Have fun with this. Musescore is a super powerful tool, not just for composing, but also ear training and the like.